Welcome to Hari's Hobbies, the channel where we discuss the latest tech news and delve into newest tech products. So today, we're taking a look at if the 8700K will actually be replaced by an octa-core processor by Intel this year in 2018. But before we delve into that, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys would like to stay updated with the latest tech news related to gaming and PCs. So as you guys already know, there have been a lot of rumors that Intel is going to be bringing out the 8800K or the 9700K, which is going to be an 8-core 16-thread processor in the last quarter of this year. This is simply expected to be an extension of the Coffee Lake platform. However, this new chip will also require a new motherboard on the Z390 platform because of the extra power requirements of the 2 extra cores and 4 extra threads. However, at the same time, there were very many rumors about the new GTX 1100 series coming from Nvidia, and they were all suggesting that Nvidia was going to release them before the end of 2018. However, based on the CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang's recent comments, that may not be true anymore. So what is to say that the 8-core 16-thread CPU from Intel won't end up in the same case as Nvidia's next generation of GPUs? What is to say that Intel will release it in 2018? Especially considering how short period of time that it has been since the 8700K came out. Well, in my opinion, Intel will come out with the octa-core processor by the end of this year, because even though Nvidia and Intel are big players in their respective markets and they have very many aspects that are very similar, their current positions in their market are quite different. And this alteration in market standing would lead to very many changes in perception and ultimately lead to a difference in the release of the next generation of hardware from both companies. First, let's take a look at the differences between Nvidia and Intel in their respective markets. Nvidia launched their 10 series graphics cards over 2 years ago. However, even today, people are even willing to overpay for them. So as a result, it is clear that Nvidia is dominating their market in performance. However, for Intel, their story is not the same. Intel has just rushed the release of their Coffee Lake CPUs after Ryzen came out, and they are struggling to keep up. There are still 2 cores behind Ryzen, and many people are switching over to Ryzen, and Intel has been losing a lot of market share. On top of this, Intel only dominates in the gaming scene, and Ryzen is so much better for productivity tasks, and it still excels really well in gaming as well. So really, Ryzen is the better all-round chip, and so Intel is not doing very well. As it is evident, Nvidia is already dominating the market with their performance, and as a result, they have no reason to come out with the next generation of GPUs. However, Intel is struggling to keep up and are fiercely competing with Ryzen right now, and as a result, so it would definitely make sense for Intel to provide more performance in an attempt to catch up with Ryzen. Next up, Nvidia GPUs are just starting to hit MSRP, and they were selling really well, even overpriced. However, the Intel i7 8700K can often be found for less than MSRP, but it's still not selling as well because of the insane competition put on by Ryzen and the great value that it provides. So, as we are talking about Ryzen and AMD, something else to keep in mind is that Nvidia really has no competition right now. The RX 500 series was actually pretty good competition for the mid-level cards like the GTX 1060, but the problem is that the RX 500 series has been overpriced for over a year now, and the overpricing situation still persists for RX 500 series. So as a result, Nvidia really has no competition. And as for the Vega series, the Vega series can barely compete with the higher level GTX cards, so it really doesn't matter for Nvidia. The situation with Intel and AMD is much more different. AMD offered great value with Ryzen, and they offered even better value with the Ryzen 2nd generation. And because of this, AMD has been taking huge shares of market share away from Intel, and so as a result, Intel has competition to face while Nvidia does not. As a result, Intel's limited dominance in the CPU market, limited demand, and fierce competition that they had to face against Ryzen has all put Intel at a much worse spot than Nvidia. And because of these differing situations between Nvidia and Intel, Intel is much more likely to follow through and actually release an octa-core processor like expected, even though Nvidia may not actually release the next generation of GPUs. On top of this, Nvidia didn't have a roadmap as to when the next generation of GPUs were going to come out, and as a result, all the rumors surrounding the GTX 1180 were pretty much just speculation. However, with Intel, on their roadmap, they have something called Z390 that is set to come out in the second half of 2018. Overall, there were very many rumors about the GTX 1180 and the GTX 1100 series. However, with the recent comments made by Mr. Jensen Huang, a lot of eager gamers have been disappointed that they may not be able to upgrade to the next generation of GPUs before the end of 2018. Now, this raises the question, will Intel do something similar and not release the octa-core processor like everybody expects? Well, in my opinion, no, Intel will not do that because, long story short, Nvidia doesn't have any competition, so they can do whatever they want while Intel does. In the past, Intel was also like Nvidia and they would just cruise through their CPU launches. And while a year and a half ago, Intel may not have even considered launching an octa-core processor on the mainstream platform in the next 5 years, due to the presence of competition, Intel is obviously acting much differently, which can be seen in how they rushed the launch of Coffee Lake. However, now, octa-core processors are getting much more popular due to Ryzen, and AMD may even bring out 12 cores or even 16 cores with their next Ryzen 3 generation, which is also going on to the 7nm process. So it really wouldn't make any sense for Intel to still stick to the 14nm process and be offering a 6-core processor as their mainstream flagship. So, considering all that, I think that it is safe to assume that Intel will release their octa-core processor by the end of this year. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the 9700K will come out before the end of this year? And how do you feel about Ryzen 3rd generation? Do you think it'll actually have 12 cores or 16 cores like some rumors are suggesting? Make sure to comment down below what you guys think because I do read all my comments and I'm curious as to what you guys think, so make sure to post your thoughts. Also, if you guys like this video, then make sure to drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you guys would like to see more videos just like this one. But until next time, bye.